welcome back to my channel. In today's installment of Music Monday, we are going to be talking about movie soundtracks that don't have a vinyl pressing but should. Now, I've seen other creators on this app like Simply Lily do a bunch of different versions of like vinyls that should exist, and this is my first little installment of that because I have many ideas for many parts, like Disney movies that should be on vinyl, etc, etc. So sneak peek and stay tuned for that. But today we are focusing on movie soundtracks that I need ASAP in my vinyl collection that don't exist. Alrighty, let's get into it. Oh, and I should say I made all of these mock-ups on Canva. First up, this one I think has been mentioned in many videos that I've seen, but I'm just gonna repeat that because I need it like literally yesterday, and that is the Julie and the Phantoms soundtrack. Now, if you do not know what Julie and the Phantoms is, it is an amazing show that was directed by the man, the myth, the legend, Kenny Ortega. And it was canceled by Netflix after the first season. What the heck, Netflix? Why? Horrible. It's an amazing show. You should go watch it. It has Disney Channel vibes. I think that is because of the Kenny Ortega touch. But the soundtrack for this? Oh, freaking amazing. I love this soundtrack so much. For this pressing, I was purposely trying to find something that was like, had that like wispiness in the pressing because the three main band characters are ghosts. In this pressing, it's like this beautiful, like kind of like purpley transparent. And then you have those like kind of like little marbly wisps in the middle that is like a darker purple. And I feel like it matches on the cover when you have that like purple aura, like smokiness around the three boys. I feel like it matches that perfectly, and I love it, but I need this. Now, on the same vein of TV shows, the next one we have is the Runaround Season 1 soundtrack. Now, technically, is this just an album? Sort of. If it didn't have the Kitty Hawk song on it, then it would just be a Runarounds album, because if you don't know, the Runarounds is a show created by Jonas Pate, aka the creator of Outer Banks, about the origin of this band called the Runarounds. And the band that plays the band in the show is real. I literally saw them last month and it was amazing. They're such great performers and it was so much fun. But they are technically a real band, so it's kind of like, it is a soundtrack, but it's also kind of just an album. But anyways, I need it, like, nonetheless. The logo for the Runarounds is orange. So I was thinking going the orange route. So this first pressing mock-up I have is just kind of like a marbly orange color. Then I was like, I kind of wanted to play around with something that's a little bit like more like an accent color. And so then I came up with this like sort of Coke bottle clear pressing because I think that fits the aesthetic of the show a lot because it has a lot of retro like notes in there in like the costuming and like stuff like that. And so I feel like a Coke bottle clear would also be perfect for this. Will I technically settle for a standard black of this? Yes. However, I think they should do a color pressing because that's just 20% cooler. Now we're going to be stepping away from TV shows and diving into some movies, and specifically we're going to be talking about a specific director. Now, if you've seen my spring films video, which I will link up here, I have talked about Wes Anderson before and how he is my favorite director of all time. He's one of my biggest inspirations when it comes to film, and I love the guy. I've seen every single one of his films. I love it. But he doesn't really have many of his soundtracks on vinyl. Technically, The French Dispatch is on vinyl, and then for Record Store Day, Black Friday, they had Asteroid City, which that I must have on my grasp. It's on my wish list. I need to have it. And then years ago for Record Store Day, they came out with, I think it's a 10-inch single for Moonrise Kingdom, and that is going for a bajillion dollars, and I'm not willing to pay that price as much as I love Moonrise Kingdom. So we're gonna dive into the soundtracks that he is not pressed on vinyl yet that he most definitely should release. First up is my favorite Wes Anderson film, which is Grand Budapest Hotel. I went for a lot of the main colors in the color scheme for this movie, which is going to be light pink, royal purple, and then like a darker red. Those are the main colors on the color palette, and I genuinely could not decide which one I liked better. So I'll first show you the pink one. So the pink one is like this light baby pink, which is like everywhere in the film. It's literally, as you can see from the cover, the color of the hotel itself. So there's a lot of pink in that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in the center label, I thought it'd be perfect to have the Society logo with the keys. I thought that would be perfect to have for like the center label on the vinyl. I don't always do center label designs on these mock-ups, but whenever an idea comes up, I add it. And this one I felt looks perfect. So yeah, we have the pink one. Then I also came with the purple one because that's another color that's frequently brought up. And then there's like this dark red. I feel like that's the most contrasty to the album cover, but if it's like a double LP, it could be a situation where it's like there's multiple versions and one version is like the pink and the purple and then another version is like the purple and the red. I think that could be really cool. Or of course it could once again just be different variants, which I would buy literally all three if that was the case, but I feel like all three fit pretty well. I would say if I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be the purple one. As much as I love the pink one, I think I like the contrast of the purple. Moving on to one of his more popular films, which is Fantastic Mr. Fox. I adore this movie. It's so good. It's the ultimate fall vibes. I will definitely be including it in a movies to watch this fall video when we get to that. But it's so good. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you go watch it. But for this pressing, I thought no better than just a standard bright yellow. It matches perfectly with the text at the top of the album cover, and it's such a great score. Like literally, I'm pretty sure Alexander Desplat is that how you pronounce his name? I'm so sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. But I think he composes most of Wes Anderson's discography, and just every single album hits every single time. And yeah, I feel like this highlighter yellow is perfect. I need Fantastic Mr. Fox on vinyl. And then I did previously mention that the French Dispatch did in fact have a vinyl, and it's just a standard black. So this is my proposed idea for a color pressing, and it's this baby yellow color, so not highlighter, but just a nice subtle pastel yellow, because there's obviously hints of that throughout the film, and so I feel like this was a perfect possible colored pressing for this movie. Now we are going to move away from Wes Anderson and go into some of my favorite movies with amazing soundtracks that absolutely need a vinyl. And the first one is Dan in Real Life. Oh my gosh, guys, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, it's so heartwarming and so beautiful, and it reminds me so much of my extended family, and so it just feels so cozy and familiar in a way to me, and I love it so much. Of course, because I'm a color pressing girly, I thought I would go with the text that's on the cover and just do a red. It could be opaque red, could be transparent red. I think in this image it looks a little more transparent. It's pretty much all just Sondre Lerche songs, and it's amazing. If you haven't watched this movie and you haven't listened to the soundtrack, you should definitely go do both because it's top tier. I have pretty much half of this soundtrack on my fall playlist because it's so perfect. But yeah, I need it on vinyl. Okay, moving on to another one of my favorite films, and that is Begin Again. So this is a John Carney film, and I love John Carney. The way that he tells these musicians' stories and tells them in such a fun and entertaining way, but then also creates this amazing soundtrack for every single one of his films is just amazing. If you saw my vinyl collection video, which will be linked up here somewhere, you would know that I have Sing Street by John Carney, that soundtrack on vinyl, but I love Begin Again so much as well, and so obviously this needs to be on a vinyl as well. This, I went the yellow route because if you see in the cover, there's like this like tealish light blue color and then this yellow, and I felt like the yellow really fit for this cover in my opinion. And then they could also just have like the light blue center label, as you can see in the image. Like, I felt like that fit pretty well. But yes, I love this. Even if you're not gonna watch the movie, at least go listen to the soundtrack because it's so good and so fun. Keira Knightley's like voice is just so unique and like beautiful. I love it so much. And then kind of on a similar note, we have music and lyrics. I just recently talked about this in my last video when I was ranking all rom-coms, And this is such a fun film. It's Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant, and it's once again kind of like a music vibe. Hugh Grant's character was like an old 80s rock pop band, and so it's just, you have to watch it. It's so fun. But the soundtrack is also super great, especially the main song from this film. Amazing. You should at least go listen to that song, which, if you're curious, the song is called Way Back Into Love. So definitely go at least stream that. But for this pressing, I don't know why, but the seafoam green color was calling my name. I feel like this kind of goes with the vibe, because I initially was thinking red, because in the movie there's this like super cheesy music video, The Pop Goes My Heart, and that's also like very red checkerboard vibes. But I also feel like seafoam green also is kind of like a little bit 80s, and so I felt like that also kind of fit the vibe. But anyways, as I was saying, I feel like the seafoam green really goes with this. And also, I feel like it's a nice, chill color that goes with the like more neutral album cover. And so yeah, we need this. We need this on seafoam green. Now, one of like the best films of all time, and that is Good Will Hunting. Like, okay, out of all of the movies that I just essentially talked about, if you haven't seen Good Will Hunting, this is the one you absolutely need to watch. 100%. It's so emotional. It's gonna change your life. Like, it's so amazing. Both Matt Damon and Robin Williams' performances in this film is just outstanding. It is amazing. It's a film that everybody, in my opinion, needs to watch. This soundtrack is amazing because it's a lot of like Elliott Smith songs, which like also just sets the mood, but it's so good. The pressing that I created for it gives very much fall foliage. It very much matches the fall foliage behind them in the album cover. So it's like this brown and yellow cream-ish marble. But I was like, this I fear matches the album cover too well. So I kind of wanted to play around with something that was a little contrasty. So then I came up with this dark forest green color. Kind of like Evermore's green pressing. That's kind of the vibe, because as you can see like in the album cover, there's like, it's a 4-leaf clover kind of like in the center. And so I felt like green was a great color to have as like a second variant option. I just feel like this also is a great color for the album. I love both of these pressings, but if I had to pick one, I would say that the like fall foliage looking one, I feel like is probably the one I would lean more towards. And then finally we have, and this was another film I mentioned in my spring movies video, and that is Midnight in Paris. As I said in that video, this was like one of my favorite movies for like the longest time, because it's just so aesthetic and it's so cool and it's so artsy. Woody Allen, as much as we hate that man, he always delivers with the soundtracks of his films. I won't lie. And like, yeah, it's kind of like a piano jazz kind of vibes, but like, trust me, it's like perfect studying music, like just to put in the background while you're like, I don't know, making dinner or something. Like, it's like the perfect ambiance. Something about this movie specifically, I feel like the soundtrack is like even more magical, and I just love it. And so for this pressing, in the album cover, they have like Vincent van Gogh colors of like Starry Night, and even like in the sky, like in the back. And so I kind of ran with that and have this like pale yellow color that matches those like stars in the sky. And I feel like it fits perfectly because, and it also slightly kind of matches Owen Wilson's like pants in the cover. I just feel like it's like the perfect vibe. Now, unfortunately, that was our last pressing of this video. I plan on doing a part 2 because there's so many other movie soundtracks and show soundtracks that need to be created, or like they created only the score but not the soundtrack, if that makes sense. And so there's a many of films that I have yet to talk about on this channel, and do not fret, I will be making a part 2 at some point, as well as some other vinyls that need to be made. So definitely subscribe down below if you want to see those other vinyls that should exist videos. I post every single Monday, either movie content or music content. So if you're interested, definitely come back every Monday. And if you ever want to follow me on Letterboxd or Musicboard, all of things are listed down below. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next one, because that's all, folks.